Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Convention with the Weekly Comic Book Roundup. We've come to this week's Marvel books. Now it's time to move on to this week's DC books. Kicking things off, we've got Blue Beetle, #1. So, in Blue Beetle Graduation Day, Blue Beetle stopped what appeared to be Blue Beetle, along with representatives of other groups similar to the Scarab, prevented a invasion by the Harvest. Though for a while he was somewhat sidelined by the Justice League and not entirely trusted because of, well, the Scarab. Um, he is moved to the city where Cord Industries is based out of, and at least, as far as I recall, he still has an internship at Cord Industries. Though he's not, Ted Cord's sister is not exactly his biggest fan, but not entirely against the idea of him being at the company. So we get a little bit of backstory on the Blue Beetle legacy, both Dan Garrett and Ted Cord, and of course Jamie Reyes. But this begins a story called Scarab War. But a group known as the Madmen are causing trouble in the city, and two of Jamie's new allies, Dynasties and Natida, provide backup to Jamie, allowing the Madmen to be taken care of fairly easily. After after the Madmen are dealt with, Jamie arrives at Zahn's diner. But a pair of aliens have arrived to eat, and they can't understand why humans are so mad about this. But there's a couple members of the Horizon. One of them, Uli, explains that after the Horizon ship stopped, she wants to explore Earth, learn new things, meet new creatures, but she won't let anyone stop her. But Uli is trying to be peaceful about things, so not to cause too much of a scene. The next day, Jaime and his friend are hanging out. Jamie's trying to, process everything. Back at Cord Industries, someone has secretly arrived and is attacking, seemingly from the Horizon. attacks Ted, destroying the bug, and then stabbing Ted. That is where the issue ends. It's very clear that that Ted's assailant has designs on Jamie, so let's see how that plays out. Strong start. I like that it's continuing from Graduation Day. I also like that some of the new scarabs are being kept on as supporting characters. Moving on to our next book, we have Fire and Ice. Welcome to Smallville, #1. So Fire and Ice are a longtime duo in DC Comics. Most notably, they were a part of the Justice League International run from the late 80s. Fire is a Brazilian model turned secret agent with, fire powers. Ice is a mystical ice princess with, obviously, ice powers. It's, kind of the perfect melding of. It's the kind of duo that kind of writes itself. The fiery hothead and the cool, calm, collected one. So, it opens in Smallville. Building is burning. Ice basically says it is mad at Fire and lets that be known. Flashes back. We go back to 2 weeks previously. Fire, Ice, and Elron arrive at the Big T's in Smallville. It was the only rental available, and Fire wanted Elron to find them a new headquarters, but the only rental was a closed down salon. Fire's got some files, some Justice League files. And she wants to make her and Ice to make a name for themselves once again. But Ice is kind of looks at this as an opportunity for change, pointing out that back in the Power Girl special, Ice ended up pummeling Guy Gardner, and Fire ended up pummeling Guy Gardner, while Ice had to protect civilians from being hurt. And even with the way Ice puts it, it does seem like Superman basically put them on timeout. But in Smallville, they were initially supposed to stay on at the Kent farm, but Fire didn't want to do that. Though Ma Kent brings a pie, which even Fire can admit is good pie, and Martha and Ice seem to click well, but a stylist that used to work at the salon has been shows up wanting, hey, someone's bought the place, so clearly she can get her old job back. Ice hires her, but Fire doesn't appear to be all that enthused. But Ice and Ma Kent have lunch at the Sky Diner. While they're there, Fire has made a video with the help of Elron to basically say that her and Fire are in Smallville and ready to deal with all supervillains and her and Elrond do a bit of flossing. There was a name I'll give it for the stylist. Tamarind, the stylist, is practicing styling with the aid of Elrond, but there's a steady amount of booms in the distance, and so Fire flies out to beat this whoever's causing these big booms. It's King Shark, but before a fight can happen, Superman shows up and subdues King Shark. Not really making Fire too happy. I suggested maybe it's time that her and Fire just accept that, their days of superhero are over. The next day, Ma Kent brings her book club in for a grand opening. There's pie, though, and while Ice is there, some of the book club members note wanted posters up of various villains. Tomer goes to check on Fire, but Fire's not exactly happy and makes a call, offering to pay someone to basically pulling a Booster Gold bit, beat someone's ass pay someone to get their ass kicked by her and film it for a little bit. Who is this someone? Ambush Bug. And apparently, he would actually pay Fire to kick his ass a little while filming it. So yeah, should be noted. Ambush Bug works at Big Valley Burger. That is where the issue ends. Fun start to things. I'm curious as to how we end up with the salon in flames, but I guess find out over the next 5 issues. Moving on to our next book, we've got Justice Society of America number 6. Where we left off, Per Degaton had been defeated, and seemingly the Young Justice Society had been brought back in, or had been introduced to the JSA proper. We get a little bit of a quick rundown of the Stargirl Lost Children miniseries, which introduced the Young Justice Society. And the Boom, Judy Garrick, is reunited with her father. Her father, who had completely forgotten, who had been made to forget about her. But once, as they're reunited, he promptly remembers. We get her origin. A villain was trying to replicate the accident that created Jay Garrick, with using Judy Garrick as a human lab rat. Judy escaped and became her father's sidekick, the Boom. A few months later, she vanished without a trace, captured and taken to Orphan Island, like the other lost children. Judy and Jay get to catch up and reminisce. Elsewhere in New York, there's another parent and child, superhero parent and child, dealing with things. Bruce Wayne has set up his future daughter Helena in a nice apartment in New York, having to play her off as being as his cousin. Also, however, Huntress can't go back to her future because it doesn't look like it even exists anymore. She's not happy about being put in the New York being put up in the New York penthouse, but she also says that she doesn't want to go back to. She doesn't want to go to Gotham right now because Catwoman's there and they're about to have her hands full because Selina and Bruce are about to have one hell of an argument. We'll be getting to that. But Mr. Terrific, Hourman, and Green Lantern are dealing with trying to reunite all of the sidekicks with their families and or other the heroes they worked with. Salem the Witch Girl is apparently is kind of having issues with the new Dr. Fate, who then Khalid explains that Ken Nelson, the Dr. Fate she knew, was his great uncle. He kind of explains to her everyone who's been Dr. Fate since then, and it turns out that she kind of her rudeness, well, she actually kind of has to be. Explaining that she was cursed by the witches of Limbo, or of Limbo Town when she left. And when it gets too close to her, they get hurt. Dr. Fate was in the middle of trying to free her from the curse, and so Khalid offers to help her. She simply states that if he tries, he'll die, just like Kent did. Cherry Bomb is still having issues with the amount of energy her body's building up. Explaining that, with Dr. Midnight explaining that her body is still building back up its load of kinetic energy as soon as she dispels it. Meaning she's stuck in a containment suit. Hopefully, Dr. Midnight will be able to decipher the notes left by what's left of Roy Lincoln and Cherry Bomb's father's notes. But Dr. Midnight has another visitor, Wildcat. Ted Grant wanted to know where Yolanda is. Apparently she missed training the previous night. Though doesn't seem that Dr. Midnight knows where she is. And it's not a good thing that she missed training. Ladybug, former sidekick to the Red Bee, who will also be appearing in this video, though not this book, is coming back to her family home, brought there by Stargirl. It's explained that the farm was sold to Red Bee's granddaughter, Rachel Rowley, who's in her 70s, but still works on the farm every day. Wants to meet Ladybug. But one of Red Bee's bees, Michael, kind of seems to inspire something in Ladybug. Steel meets John Irons. Apparently, John Irons is Steele's grandfather's brother. Steel and his daughter Steel were more than happy to welcome John into the family. Looks like we got Damage and Dynamite. Mr. Terrific and the old Mr. Terrific's sidekick, or, well, living together for the moment. And Huntress and Power Girl discussing the possibility of expanding the JSA's ranks, with Huntress suggesting they don't just go recruit heroes, but maybe also try and get some villains too. You know, villains were recruited in Huntress's time period, so why not do it earlier? You know, start off with Solomon Grundy. And that is where the issue ends. I'm digging this book. I'm glad we're getting some additional resolution to the Lost Children. That was a good miniseries. Moving on though to our last book for the moment, we have Peacemaker Tries Hard, number 5. Where we left off, Peacemaker and Red Bee, yes, the same Red Bee is mentioned in JSA, though different timeline, yeah. I think, maybe, ish. Have made it to Brain's hideout. And they sneak in, coming upon a bunch of clones of Brain's original body. Apparently, though, because of all the time Brain spent in, as a brain in a jar, his original body rejected the brain. With Peacemaker and Red Bee arriving, though, the clones opted to leave, as Red Bee and Peacemaker make to the nursery, which is filled with clone baby Deathstrokes, who are all promptly awakened by Peacemaker not utilizing his inside voice. And yeah, a bunch of baby Deathstrokes is actually enough to be a problem for Peacemaker, let alone one teenage Deathstroke. Teen Deathstroke and Peacemaker duke it out, but Peacemaker's able to basically say, hey, alright, so your dad tells you gotta be the world's greatest assassin. That's not what a dad does. A dad, lets you decide what you want to be, and supports you in doing so. And, well, Teen Deathstroke says he just wants to dance and play video games. Peacemaker tells him, hey, if that's what you're going to do, fine. Go. Be happy. You deserve it. We learn also that the brain was responsible for making quite a few old super weapons from World War II. The Cyclone of Terror, the Flying Tank, and the War Wheel. But the brain shows up, having placed his body in a clone of Deathstroke, calling himself Warmaker. And Red Bee's one that gets impulsive about the War Wheel having been used to kill various allies of Red Bee's during World War II. However, just before, Warmaker gets the drop on Red Bee. But before he can attack Red Bee, or before he can kill Red Bee, Peacemaker activates the laser beam in his helmet, knocking the sword out of Warmaker's hand. But then Brain knocks Peacemaker out. One of Red Bee's Michael, however, stings Warmaker in his good eye, and which gives Red Bee enough of a distraction to slice off Warmaker's head, or at least the top of it, releasing the brain. Bruce Wayne briefly catches Brain's brain, shakes it about in his mouth before Moloch retrieves it and puts it in yet another vessel. Chemo. And that is where the issue ends. This has been a fun series, and I'm guessing that next issue is our finale. Been a trip so far. Quite the riot. But anyway, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Mastodon, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. Big shout out to Patreon patrons Xander Lee. Thank you so much for your support. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.